Alright, take two. We tried to start this up and it didn't go, so hopefully you can see and hear us now. Watch your back there, you startled Dozer, Lauren.
I had to straighten out the camera.
I personally want to make sure Lauren is paying attention to all cows with horns, so that
I am. I had to straighten out the camera before you complained about it being tilted. We're being salty today.
Now, Lauren, if you do get speared with a horn while we are filming, should I continue on as normal, or should I let the...
Can you ask if I'm okay first?
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
No, Dozer's a very good boy, and he is hanging out on the other side of the camera with Lauren. I don't know if you want to flip the camera and do just a little quick video of our sweetheart on the other side here.
Here we are.
Such a handsome dude.
He is. He's a very good helper. Yeah. Very good helper. Oh, camera shy though. Okay, it's okay, buddy. We'll put you off the camera.
And we're back to me.
Now we're back on you.
And do we have our regular folks kind of tuning in here, Lauren?
We've got our regulars now.
Awesome. Glad that it's all working. Let us know that you can see and hear us all right. And if it does decide to do a little bit of wonky Wi-Fi stuff, give us a heads up and we'll run to somewhere that gets better service. But we wanted to make sure that you got a chance to say hello to our friends, Rudy and Dozer, today. Because they were originally on the docket for Tuesday, but decided to be in a very far corner of their field where we wouldn't have been able to do our live stream. We're so excited to have you all joining us this afternoon. If you have any questions about the cows here at the sanctuary, or the environment and the impact of animal agriculture on the environment, drop those questions right on in our comment section below, and we will do our best to answer them in today's segment. This month is already almost halfway over. I don't know how that happened, and this is a special month for us because we are doing Petunia's Pledge. So starting on October 1st, we kicked off our Petunia's Pledge campaign to encourage folks to make a transition from vegetarian to vegan. Lauren is losing her mind behind the camera right now because Dozer is licking the handle to our padcaster. Oh, is he gonna lick the whole thing?
I turned it around for a second. Oh, now you get shy. He's shy. He doesn't want to be on the camera when it's facing him.
He's like...
Here you are. Here you are. Hello. Very good boy. Alright, back to Caden.
So October 1st was World Vegetarian Day. November 1st is World Vegan Day, which will also mark the end of Petunia's Pledge campaign. But if you haven't signed up yet, it is never too late to sign up. So we would encourage you to do that now. We are going to drop a link in the comments as well. And this is our way to help folks who are not only vegetarian, but perhaps not yet vegetarian, to start making a transition to veganism. And it's also for our vegan followers and supporters who just want to join and find a little community and some of the perks that we have going on with Petunia's Pledge, which includes, if you sign up, you can get discounts on our merchandise, on our cookbook. You get a packet emailed to you with some helpful information for transitioning to veganism. You get access to some of our bonus live streams in our Petunia's Pals Facebook group, which is a private Facebook group for our pledge members or pledge takers. So Lauren and I have done a few live streams in there, and Chef Linda is doing a vegan Q&A, Vegan 101 Q&A this Friday, tomorrow at 1 p.m. So check it out. We're really excited to be offering Petunia's Pledge just to give you some help, support, and resources along your journey. And we also should give a special shout out to our supporters of Petunia's Pledge. So we have Vegan Wines, we have Riverdale, we have Treeline, And we have VegCo that are supporting us as well. So thank you all. Check out those companies. We are grateful for their support. And today is going to be all about cow chin scratches.
Yay!
Hold on. We're gonna have just a moment of zen before we launch into what today is about. Oh. That's the spot. If you ever want to make friends with a cow, chin scratches are really the way to go. You really can't go wrong. I've never met a cow who didn't appreciate a good chin scratch. I think we might be seeing a cow tongue come across the camera soon. Because,
He's thinking about it.
Rudy is thinking about wrapping his tongue around the whole corner of the equipment here.
Booping the camera with his nose.
We've got ever the helpful crew here.
Lots of helpers here for Caden, right?
So many.
Here he is.
That was a little phlegm response there.
That little thing he's doing with his face helps him smell better when they kind of lift up their lip like that.
It's a lot like a cat who sticks out their tongue to get a little bit of a better sense of smell, because just as in humans, with a lot of other animals, their senses of smell and taste are very, very closely related. And so they've got a lot of glands up there. Oops, my goodness. Always be mindful when you're around large animals about where their horns are.
It's okay, Caden. If they get you with the horns, I will also ask if you are okay.
You can just continue on as normal.
Oh, okay.
Pan away
Caden
from me.
so.
And I expect our office folks to come out and help me. No, so we're going to be talking all about the impact of animal agriculture on the environment today, and some of the ways that we can sort of look at how it's impacting the environment that go beyond greenhouse gas emissions. So, did we have, before I sort of start chatting, did we have any questions come through yet?
Not really questions yet. Folks are just kind of chatting away, admiring how absolutely beautiful these cows are. And they are.
They are.
Such lovely cows. Jennifer, by the way, has been vegan for 29 years.
Oh my goodness.
So, like, wow.
That
is
is
awesome, Jennifer.
That is longer than I have been alive. So that is...
Longer than 3 out of 4 people here have been alive.
That is true. These guys are...
And we also pointed out that if you also love to give cow chin scratches, we are hiring animal caregivers. So we've got a link to that in the chat there as well. So, hello.
Although that does probably involve a little more cow poop scooping than cow chin scratching.
This is true, but...
I can attest to the fact that you can multitask those two things.
Yes.
And in fact, it is often requested by the cows that you multitask those two things. What are you doing? You're getting a little space crowdy, isn't it? Oops.
Personal bubble.
Well, I want to look at you all, but
Here,
he's also just keeps infringing on my zone, right? Yeah. That's Dozer for you. Really bad at personal space. So, we are hanging out with our cows. Our other option today for talking about the environmental impact of animal agriculture was going to be hanging out with our goats. Anybody have any guesses why we might have chosen to hang out with the goats if we could not find any cows to hang out with for this afternoon? What might be the link between those two and why we'd want to talk about them together? Leave a guess in the comments. I'll give it a second. And while you guess away, I want to talk a little bit about what factors into an assessment of how animal agriculture or any form of agriculture has an impact on the environment. So sometimes we think of it just as what it takes to grow the plant or to raise the animal and not a whole lot else. And there are some studies that will look at environmental impact in just that way. What are the resources it takes to raise a chicken? What are the resources it takes to grow lentils or soy or corn or what have you? Fruits and veggies. But of course, that is not the end of the story. We don't simply grow those things and then they magically end up in our bellies. Is that... Did you just hear what I heard?
I don't know what you heard, so I don't know.
I think Rudy was just passing a bunch of gas, but I'm now second guessing myself.
Oh, I was listening to the geese.
The geese are also talking.
Yes, folks, you might hear some geese who live in the yard that's right next door to us right now.
Yes. I think Rudy was also passing a fair bit of gas in my direction. Thank you, Rudy. I think he's saying the cow version of "you're welcome." No big. There are also the effects of transportation, of refrigeration, of preparation that go into how the plants and animals that are raised for food in the United States and around the world impact our environment in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, in terms of land use, in terms of water use. And we have to look at those things holistically. Not all studies look at the same things, though. So it does get a little bit tricky, and we'll talk about some of the best guesses of what the impacts are, with the understanding that none of the science is perfect. Thank you for... He's just like, why are you on screen, Kaden?
Oh, buddy. Is it because you see a truck? I think we're excited about a truck. So one of our
We are as well.
one of our trucks has just appeared. This is the water truck, but the boys might be wondering, is there food in the water truck? I don't know. Probably not though, boys. Alright, and Kaden, we did have a few thoughts as to some of those things that might be affecting, like, the different environmental impacts and all.
Wonderful. What were the thoughts?
Well, a lot of folks suggested poo and, like, methane and stuff like that. That came in several times, so good job, folks at home. I'm sorry that I lost it, but someone also said about the land that gets used. And then Karen is also saying about, since you were saying like the goats were kind of our other plan, Karen says, is it because goats are one of the most farmed animals in other countries?
Actually, that is a really good point, Karen. So that was not the reason why, but I really like that you brought that up. By weight, not by the number of animals, but by weight, goats are the most consumed land animal in the world. So we do raise more smaller animals, a greater quantity of smaller animals, like chickens. There are more individuals who are raised and killed for food each year than there are goats. However, across the world by weight, because goats are just larger than chickens, except for maybe our Beatrice. She's tiny. And we've got a few big chickens here. I mean, Beatrice is probably, what, Michael the turkey's size?
Oh, she is very small. I don't know the last time I saw the two of them standing next to each other, but she is very small.
Beatrice is an exception. Goats are significantly larger, of course, than birds. So fewer individuals have to be killed to produce the same amount of meat, but they are very, very consumed worldwide. The methane is an excellent point. So it was very much to do with the fact that goats and cows and sheep as I feel like I so often say on here, are what kind of animals? Just leave a quick guess, but then I'm going to say it right away.
Beautiful ones.
They are all beautiful, but the birds are beautiful too, Lauren. The birds are
I
beautiful
didn't say
too.
they're not.
They are all ruminants, so they all have to digest their tough grasses that they eat first in their rumens, which is the first chamber of their four-chambered stomachs. And when they burp up all of that partially fermented and digested food from the rumen to chew again, when they're chewing their cud, they burp up a lot of methane too, which is made because of the food fermenting.
I gestured over at Dozer because I really hope the slurping sounds that he was just making as he drinks his new water that just got here, I really hope those came through on the camera because it was cute. Carry on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got one building up?
We may end up having a poo on camera. We'll see.
Drum roll.
So Dozer is also demonstrating here for us water use and poop production potentially. Thank you, Dozer. Yeah. So methane is really the big reason we were thinking about featuring our goats as well. Should we try to follow Rudy? I know they're getting a little bit farther away, so let us know if the signal keeps up, and we'll try to get some cows a little bit closer on camera while we chat. But in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, we don't have perfect numbers on just how many of them or how much of them are responsible or are caused by animal agriculture specifically. We've seen wide ranges in the numbers. But on average, what we're seeing, or conservatively, what we do see is that in terms of the environmental impact of eating a standard American type diet, an omnivorous diet, it is about twice as many greenhouse gas emissions? Much or many? I don't know.
Much.
Two times the amount of greenhouse gas emissions caused by an omnivorous or animal including diet as opposed to a vegan diet. But that's not all, because again, this month is all about Petunia's Pledge and transitioning from vegetarian, which is a really, really awesome thing to do for animals, to vegan, which is sort of just the icing on the cake there in terms of having a great positive environmental impact, and also, most importantly to us here at Catskill Animal Sanctuary, a really positive effect on the lives of animals. He's just walking away.
He's got important food to eat.
That's the less Wi-Fi zone, just so that we're all sort of panned in there. But we do have a space intruder that we can go and say hello to, and we'll see how it works out. But vegetarian diets conservatively use about 34% more, 30 to 35% more greenhouse gas emissions as a vegan diet. So there is still a significant difference between vegetarian and veganism in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. Shall we? Do we have questions coming in, by the way, Lauren?
Not really. Folks, do feel free to ask away if you've got questions about the cows, about the sanctuary, about all the stuff Caden's talking about.
Are we going to be friends now? We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, Dozer.
He seems kind of chill right now.
He does seem chill. I mean, the truck is gone, so
trucks are super exciting.
Trucks carry hay.
Yes.
Which is, you know, the lifeblood of a cow. And water, of course, but not quite as exciting in general as the potential for hay to arrive. But there are also significant impacts in our food system from what? Okay, we've got a question.
We did just have a question, yes. Jean is wondering why there's a difference in the emissions like that.
So, between vegetarian and veganism, I'm assuming. Right?
Didn't specify, but I assume so.
So
feel free to specify.
The difference...
Yes, between vegan and vegetarian. Thank you, Jean.
Yeah, so vegetarianism still relies on animals in the farming process. So animals are still being fed and raised so that they can produce eggs or milk. And so in those cases, you still have to care for some pretty large animals who are still producing quite a few greenhouse gas emissions. And of course, there is an added layer. So that food that we're feeding to the animals is food that has to be grown as well. It's not as though, they also have to be fed crops that we are growing. And so there are just more resources that go into producing a certain amount of protein that is coming from cow's milk or a chicken's eggs. And so, yeah, greater greenhouse gas emissions. Do we have any other questions? And then, although the impact of what these guys are putting out from their own bodies when they're on farms is significant for sure, one of the biggest parts of the food system that have a major effect on energy resources or energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions is the handling of foodstuffs. So that is the handling, the refrigeration in particular of food products from the time that perhaps an animal is killed to the time that they are in your refrigerator. But of course that also has an impact on plant-based foodstuffs. But the amount of refrigeration that is used for animal foods is a lot greater than the amount of refrigeration that we tend to use for plant-based foods, because a lot of our plant-based foods can be kept at room temperature or slightly warmer temperatures without spoiling to as terrible an effect as an animal's flesh or their milk or their eggs would in the U.S. So I'm going to challenge you to list some of your favorite pantry, shelf-stable vegan proteins in the comments, and we'll see what we can come up with, because I've got a list of quite a few that I really enjoy having on hand that don't require refrigeration, and that don't require refrigeration in transport, because keep in mind, from the slaughterhouse to the trucks that bring them to, distributors to then the grocery stores, there is a ton of refrigeration all along the way, and it is very, very resource intensive. We had questions, it seems.
Oh, well, I was going to ask if you could give an example, but Veronica did just chime in with a very broad category. Beans!
Beans was one broad category that I listed. Yes, canned beans, dried beans that you'll then, rehydrate and cook yourself, are some great pantry vegan protein sources that are significantly less impactful on the environment than animal products. I also really like listing peanut butter. Make a delicious peanut sauce and then throw that over some veggies and rice, and you've got a really simple and delicious meal. What were some of our other guesses?
We've got more. Janine says lentils.
Lentils.
Karen says grains. Janine also says nuts. Kate says pulses. Lisa says TVP. Kaden, what's TVP?
TVP is texturized vegetable protein, which is...
That's a great name.
Not the cutest name. I know. But it tends to have soy in it, but you could basically, cook it up the way that you would anything that you're making from flour in a sort of way. Like you've gotta add liquid and then cook it and flavor it and all of that. But it is a nice shelf-stable veggie protein source. Do we have other guesses? Those are all great ones.
Mostly we were just repeating. There was some agreement on some good ones. Again, nuts, and Debbie has nut butters as well. Lotus says peas aren't a bad source of protein either.
Peas are a very good source of protein, and I think they also fall into pulses. I'm not sure. I might be wrong.
Yeah, because they're legumes.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're not legumes. They're not legumes. They're pulses, which is separate. I'm pretty sure. There's pulses and legumes. So legumes being sort of like the beans. Lauren's going to look it up. But peas are a really good source of protein, and they're like a really complete nutrition profile there as well. I love to have some like sunflower seeds on hand, vital wheat gluten in order to make some seitan, or mix with beans and make a delicious veggie burger type situation. With beans you can make like a chickpea eggless or a chickpea tuna salad. So instead of eating a fish, you can mash up some chickpeas really coarsely, throw in some veggie mayo, some seasoning, mustard, lemon, salt, and maybe some dulse, which is a type of seaweed, which is really rich in B12, great for vegans as well, and anyone, because most Americans don't get enough B12 in their diet, and everyone should take a supplement. Continue. What was your question, Lauren?
Well, peas are legumes, and there are also 11 types of pulses. Would you like to hear them? Because I'm going to share them.
Just list a few.
A few? Dry beans of various sorts, dry peas, dried chickpeas, lentils, and a whole bunch of other peas.
Huh.
Or
well,
beans.
then I
A whole bunch of
clearly
other
don't
beans,
know.
excuse me. So yes, peas are lentils and pulses.
Interesting.
We learned something today. We all learned things
Very,
today.
very interesting. Okay.
And by the way, we did also have, Janine said greens. Janine, you do probably want to refrigerate those.
You do probably want to refrigerate your greens.
Yeah,
unless you meant grains. Because somebody did say grains.
Somebody did say grains.
And I appreciate that you pointed out that grains also have protein in them, because we often think of protein sort of as only coming from certain foods, but a lot of the foods that we eat, sorry guys, they just totally walked off from us. A lot of the foods that we eat actually do contain some amounts of protein, so it's not as though there is a dearth of vegan protein sources out there for us. I also
Which is exactly
really enjoy...
what Janine just said. The typical question of where do you get your protein from?
Yeah.
Easily answered.
All over the place, along with a lot of the other micronutrients that we really, really need that tend to be less abundant in animal food sources. So the average vegan actually gets far more vitamins and has far fewer vitamin deficiencies than the average person eating a standard American diet. Yes.
Janine said that I forgot the topic was refrigerated, LOL. So,
that's okay.
Good job, Janine. Keep putting those in the fridge. Keep your greens in the fridge. And also, Lisa was wondering where some of the other cows are, and I don't know if we can actually see one. I don't think
so. You can see her.
I can see. Let me try to point. Right there is Blossom. Is Benjamin? No, I don't see him. I don't know. So there's a little shape, a little black and white shape next to a rock in that other field over there. And that's Blossom. And somewhere is Benjamin. And Caden, did you know that today is Benjamin's 5-year rescue anniversary?
I did.
Yay!
Yes, mostly because Lauren pointed it out to me this morning, and I said, but he was recently on. So we're not going to stop with him. But yes, today is Benjamin's rescue anniversary. And Tucker and Amos are out by our front parking lot. Our field does not get great Wi-Fi, but if you want to see Tucker and Amos, I'm just going to do a little shameless plug, as I'm so apt to do on all of these, beginning and end of every virtual sanctuary.
We are pretty much at the end.
I know,
so
Lauren's been trying to hint at me for a while that I've got to keep to time. So, if you would like to see more of our cows in person, we are seeing them on our member tours. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were trying to ask me what we're seeing on.
Nah, I was just building some suspense. So we are doing some limited member tours right now on Sundays for folks who are sanctuary members, but you can become a sanctuary member. We'll drop a link right below. We have limited space on these tours. The tours are free for members, and when you sign up, you'll get a link to sign up for the member tours. We only have a tiny handful of spots still available for this Sunday, but we do have plenty of openings for Sunday, October 25th, and Sunday, November 1st. So if you are in the area and can abide our COVID safety guidelines, which you'll see when you register as well, we would encourage you to come up and visit and say hello, because we wanted to offer a little special chance. We've been mostly closed to the public all year, and so we know that a lot of you are missing seeing these guys in person, especially when they won't even cooperate with the on-screen time. But that's okay, because they're here at Sanctuary. They get to do what they want to do. That's
They're hungry boys.
And you can also get a little more screen time with them. Not these guys in particular. Probably today, some birds are going to be starting our compassionate cuisine cooking class. So we are doing a decadent vegan desserts for chocoholics class led by Chef Linda, virtually tonight at 5:30. You can finish signing up as of 5 p.m. today. There are still spaces in the class. We'll drop a link for that as well. And she will be making all sorts of delicious recipes. And is there anything else that I am missing, Lauren? If you want more time with us, you can sign up for our CAS Lives. And we will also be doing, if you're part of Petunia's Pledge, a Vegan 101, again, a live stream tomorrow for our Petunia Pledge takers with Chef Linda. So those are all of the good things that we've got going on here, and we will be back next week at 1 p.m. on Tuesday with more of our rescued animals. And hopefully they'll be in a slightly more cooperative mood than Rudy and Dozer. Have we missed any questions that I should answer before we wrap up? I didn't even get to land use.
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. There's so many things to talk about, isn't there?
There always are.
Always are. But save that for next time.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out and joining us today. We love seeing your comments in the comments section, because that's really all we see of you. But we are so thankful for your engagement, and we just couldn't do this without all of you. So have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Bye, everyone. It's very sunny out here.
Bye-bye.